You gotta admit that this is gonna be a cool video because we have a bunch of electronic devices, right? And then we have this big bucket of water. So what am I gonna do with that, huh? But we're gonna get back to this water here in just a minute. But first, I want to introduce you to one of my favorite pieces of survival gear. If you like to travel and you got kids, this little gadget makes a ton of sense. If you don't have kids, this little gadget still makes a ton of sense. If you got grandkids, it doesn't matter. In any scenario, this piece of gear makes sense to have, carry, take with you. It makes life just a little bit easier, makes life today a little more convenient, and it's a nice backup system in case things go bad, okay? So what the heck am I talking about? I mean, you can see it right here. What is that, a solar panel? Yes. So this is called the Easy Power Solar Power Bank. That's kind of a mouthful, but it tells you everything you need to know about this thing. I mean, it's super easy to use. It's really, really handy to have in almost any scenario, and it's a piece of gear I carry with me every day, and it's there for me if I need it in an emergency as well. So we'll get into all that in just a second. But it's made by Survival Frog, and they're a company that makes quality gear for people who are into survival and who are interested in being prepared. This is a piece of gear I'm extremely impressed by. Let's just put it that way. So let's dive into it. It's a little solar panel with a battery bank. So basically it's just taking the sun's rays and it's taking that power and it's storing it in a battery. And what's nice is this thing's light, it's compact, you can take it on the go, and you can charge all your devices. And that's what I got here. I got all these devices here, and I want to show you how I can charge those up. Let's start with more power, right? So this here is a power bank. That's all it is. It's a battery that you can take with you. So charge it, plug it into the wall, charge it up, make sure it was full, and then when I went anywhere, right? When I went on the go, I put it in my everyday carry backpack, you know, that I wear just about everywhere I go. So you put it in there, and then when your cell phone dies, you can plug it in, and you can still have power for a while. So here's what that looks like. You just plug this in, no problem. Plug the other end in. Okay. It's currently not charging. But if you push this little button here, you see it turns green, and it would be charging if it had juice. It has no juice. So I've already used this to the point where it no longer has any power. Okay, that's the problem with this, right? Now I have this awesome little battery pack, and if I forget to charge it up before I leave, then it's just a paperweight, you know. I could throw it at somebody, chuck it at them, and maybe knock them out or something. For the most part, it's useless. Okay, so I'd have to go find electricity and plug it in, and then take it with me, and then I'd have it. So it's a cool idea. The problem is, once you're out, you're dead in the water. That's why you incorporate this battery pack. This is a round cylindrical one, but in here is this flat one that looks like more like a cell phone size solar panel. I'm never dead in the water. I can always put this to the sun. And how do I know it's charging right now? See that little green light? That means right now, the window that's over here to my left that I keep pointing at, that is bringing sun in, and it's not even full sun. It's a cloudy day. And here I am charging this thing up. So you just got to leave it anywhere in the house, just near a window, and this thing's charging up. You attach it to your backpack on the move, and you're gaining power at all times. So what you can do is you can use this to charge this up and just carry around more energy, so that you always have, maybe your buddy's cell phone dies, here, hey, borrow this, you know. You're that guy or gal who is prepared for any situation, whether it be a dead cell phone or you need a flashlight, and we'll get to that here in a minute. So here's what you do. Okay, this thing needs juice. I just showed you this is out of power, which honestly, I didn't think it was out of power before we started this video, but hey, it makes my point, right? So let's click this up and see what happens. You have to turn it on. So what you got to do next is, you know, once it's plugged in, or before you plug it in, it doesn't matter. But you hold that down until it turns blue, and it turns on. Now we know it's on. You can see this light is a nice amber. That means it's charging. Once it's done charging, it'll turn to a green, and then this will be full and ready to go. All right. But what's cool is this little convenient device not only charges one piece of gear, you can also charge the second piece of gear. So this is a flash drive, right? Look at that, looks just like a little flash drive. Wow, that's weird. Why would they make this flash drive look just like a battery? It's because it is a battery. It's a new USB AA battery that's rechargeable. And what's so cool about this is it pairs perfectly with this Survival Frog power bank. Okay, watch this. Take this off, right? This battery, say this battery's done, it's out of power, right? Normally you'd throw it away, right? And this one, you just uncap it, find another USB port on this guy, and plug it in. See that? Still needs charging. So look at that. I'm charging two devices simultaneously at the same time with this small Survival Frog power bank, which is really, really cool. Not only is it adding power to the little to the battery in here, but I got two devices plugged in, so it's some energy is leaving from it and going into these devices. Okay, but what's cool is when these devices are charged up, I unplug it and I'm still generating power during the day. And if I run out for some reason, okay, so overnight I don't have power, and hopefully I've charged my devices, so they're all working anyway. Next day I get this powered back up. You know, I get more sunlight to this and get it filled up again. Before we started this video, I know this was already filled, so it doesn't need more charge. But I just want to show you how awesome this little gadget is when you pair it with something like the solar power bank. And I'm going to do a separate video on this in the future, so if you're this far into the video, you must subscribe to our YouTube channel, okay? That way you'll be notified when I talk in more detail about this awesome survival tool here. But if you want more information on this right now, just go to the link below in the description and we'll talk more about these USB chargers as well. And you can just click a link and get more information on that. Okay, so slide this AA USB battery into my Firehawk flashlight, which, by the way, is a flashlight we sell at Skilled Survival. So we'll put a link below in the description as well. But this is a cool little everyday carry flashlight that we sell, and people love it, just by the way. So make sure you check that out. See? Right there. You got power, you got flashlight, right? And so this is it's a very simple flashlight that it's super bright. It takes a single AA battery, and why wouldn't you invest in, with just a few dollars, a set of batteries that are AA that you can recharge anytime using your solar power bank? It just makes sense. This all makes sense. See, technology doesn't have to be all bad, right? A lot of people out there in the survival community and preparedness community are like, all this technology, you think about the power grid and, the food distribution and grocery stores. And I get it. We're moving away from self-reliance as a society, but some technologies like this one and this one are actually counteracting some of that self-reliant issues with technology. These help make us a little more self-reliant, right? Like you're using the sun's energy and sunlight to create power so that you can have communication devices, so you can have flashlights, so you can have some of those amenities and those survival tools. A cell phone is a survival tool. No, it's not a great widespread disaster mass panic tool, because when that happens, the cell phone towers pretty much get locked down. Communication can't get in and out, so it's not good for that. But if you get in a car wreck or you see somebody's house on fire, there's nothing faster than a cell phone to dial up 911 and get help immediately. So you can't tell me it's not a good survival device if it's working, if you can get a cell phone connection, if the battery is charged, right? And that's what this comes into play. That helps with those types of events. And these just make it so simple that you should have some of those. They're awesome. So here's a Kindle. A lot of us have tablets and stuff like that. So they work as well. I mean, all these devices work. It's charging, no problem. It's turning on right now. So, that can charge. Here's a cool, so this is a USB-based flashlight. There's a special battery in there that's rechargeable. And with this kind of flashlight, if you end up getting this kind of flashlight, and this is a very cool flashlight, by the way. It's called a Lantern. And it's a company that we work closely with. And I'm excited to share more information about this specific flashlight. It can do some really cool things. They have a smaller version and a larger version. So again, subscribe. Take a minute to subscribe to our video, because, we're going to be showing you all this cool gear in the future. So you're going to want to check it out. But what's nice about this little flashlight is it's a little bigger than our Firehawk here. It's super bright. It has the ability to charge from a USB, like a cell phone, right? So instead of having to carry batteries around, which you always need batteries, so you got to do that anyway. But if you get devices like this, then you can kind of avoid that. Okay, so you got flashlights, you got spare batteries, you got Kindles, and that's just a few of the devices that this thing can charge. So one thing I like to do is find out how much my gear weighs, right? If we're talking bugging out, or you're talking about carrying it every day on your backpack or in your purse or whatever, you got to know how much this stuff weighs. Put this thing on. It's 5.7 ounces is what I'm seeing for that, with that carabiner on that. So this thing's super light. It doesn't weigh anything. So that's why I say it's perfect for an everyday carry bag. The reason I like this bag for my everyday carry bag is because inconspicuous. It blends in. I can put a ton of gear in this thing and my laptop. I can go on my day-to-day, travels. So I just got to decide where I want to hook it on this bag. But I mean, it's as simple as hooking it to one of these tabs. So now, when I'm walking around during the day, whenever I walk anywhere, this is just hanging out there. And there it sits, just charging away. It's awesome. So I can put my pack somewhere near a window where I store it, like on the way out the door, and the thing will always be charged. I'll always have a full charge with me no matter where I go. So I'll never run out of cell phone. I'll never run out of flashlight and lights. I can always recharge my batteries anytime I want. So it makes it super convenient, makes it super easy. Another thing I really, really like is these grommets. These grommets sit nice and tight in there. Sometimes it was tough for me to even pry one out of there, but these grommets work great. So make sure they're nice and seated. And you know what? It's time. I brought this water bucket. So this thing's good for being fully immersed in water. That's what we're going to do here in a second. So we're going to put it in the water and we're going to take it out and we're going to plug it in and see if it works. But it's good up to 23 feet. And that's important because if it falls in a pond or a pool or something where you can still retrieve it, but you're like, oh no. With your cell phone, it's pretty much fried. It's done. But with this guy, you're still good to go. So just go ahead and drop that guy in. Sit there for, give it a couple, 2-3 minutes. All right, let's retrieve it from here. Look at the little light's still on even. Still charging. I wonder if it's doing that while it's in the water. It is. It's in the water, and there's enough sunlight coming in that the little green light's still on, even though it's totally submerged in water. You can't beat that. That's pretty awesome. So let's dry that off a little bit. Okay, it turned on, no problem. Okay. So what I want to do is show you the next piece that's pretty neat here. There's a little LED light on this thing. So if you push this button enough times, there it is. That's how you turn on the LED light. Now this is a 50 lumen light, so it's not going to be, it's nothing compared to the Firehawk and the lantern. Those are high tech, really great flashlights. Okay, those are going to brighten up an entire backyard or entire area that you need to focus on. This is great for if you're camping, finding zippers or grommets in the dark, or searching in a pack, or perfect for searching in a purse, or at night taking a peek in here because I can't find what I need to out of my bag for some reason. It's really convenient for it to be on there. Obviously, it's small LED light, so it's going to last a really long time on this battery bank. So it's not just going to draw down all the power. Just make sure you turn it off before you store it, or else it will. It'll sit there running all night long, or all day long for that matter, and then you go to use this and it's diminished. But the good thing is, even if you do that, even if that is the case, you still got a solar panel, keep charging. There's enough power in this to charge a cell phone, a typical cell phone like the one I have, about 2.5 times over. Okay, it's rough numbers. Every cell phone's different, but if this thing's fully charged, there's enough juice in here to charge multiple devices, and then you're always recharging with the solar panel again. If for some reason you need to get power to this thing, and it's dark out, okay, you're about to head out of town, and it's evening, say it's in the winter and it's 5:30 at night and the sun's down and you're like, darn, I just used this and now it's out of juice. I don't want to have to wait till tomorrow because I'm going to be on my plane tonight or something of that nature. And this, you want to use this as a power bank, but the solar feature is not going to work right now. Not until tomorrow when the sun comes back up. In that case, this unit has a power in source. So you can just plug into the wall and plug directly into this and get this charged up and full and ready so you can use it immediately. Again, this device is extremely simple. It's easy to use. It's only got one button. You know, you click it once and hold it to turn it on. And there's all your blue lights saying it's on. You know, you click it and hold it until they come off, and then all the blue lights are off, and we have that green light. And again, the only thing that green light's indicating is the fact that it's receiving sun. This thing's extremely tough too. Not only is it waterproof, but if you take this and you chuck it out the window here and it hits the concrete, it's not going to break. It's not going to shatter. You know, it's got this rubber all the way around it. And what the other thing that's nice is you're not going to drop it anyway because it fits perfectly in your hand. It's the perfect size. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's got all this rubber non-slip design on it. You know, you can see it all over it. So it's not just going to fall out of your hand at any time. And again, if for some reason you drop it from, you know, pack height, it's going to be fine. It's not going to break. It's very hardy. It's very tough. I don't think enough people are talking about these, and I don't think enough people are buying these and taking them with them for everyday use as well as for survival purposes and getting prepared for a major disaster. This guy's going to come in handy. So, I mean, you could spend thousands and thousands of dollars on solar generators, and I recommend that. I just wrote a post on solar generators, and we'll put a link in the description below on that. But I just wrote a post on solar generators, and those are amazing as well. You know, they're large, 30, 40, 50-pound generators with solar panels, so you can really generate some really good power and run things like small fridges and things like that in the case of a prolonged multiple day, a week-long, whatever outage, and run lights. This won't do that. However, this will charge all these smaller devices that you carry with you every day. So I really, truly believe that everyone should pick up one of these things. They're just extremely convenient. They're lightweight. And the reason you should get it from Survival Frog is because they make excellent survival products that stand up and last. And Survival Frog is selling these at an incredible price. I've seen these on the market for $70, $80, $150. And some of those might be a little bit bigger units that can produce a little bit more power. But I actually like that this is the size it is. I like that it's so easy to take with me every day. I never leave it behind. It doesn't weigh anything. And I always have power and I have a flashlight. It's just a really cool piece of gear, and I think everyone should have one. And what's really cool too is if you actually pick up several of these, because you know you want one obviously, but they make great gifts. I mean, you might as well pick up 3 or 4 of them, and you actually can get them at a lower per unit price that way and get a bit of a bulk discount. So you might as well pick up a couple of these and give them out as gifts to your, you know, maybe your wife or your kids or your friends or whatever. This device, you're going to not only have it for emergencies, but you're going to use it every day. So any dollars you spend on this, you're going to make up in convenience and power generation in no time. So this thing actually pays for itself in a way, in the fact that, you know, it's producing electricity for you. Again, this is a great investment. Some survival gear, it's like, well, do I really want to spend the money on that today? This, you definitely want to spend the money on today. So make sure you pick one up, and you can thank me later when your battery runs out on your phone or your flashlight's dead, and you got this with you. You're going to be like, oh man, thanks Skilled Survival, appreciate that. All right, so make sure you subscribe before you go, and we'll talk to you next time.